Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
This is my boomstick.
Here's Johnny.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Righteous! Righteous! Yeah!
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Houston, we have a problem.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
All right.
Welcome back, everyone, to Those Film Nerds podcast. Today, as always, I'm joined by my trusted co-host, Sam Dierberger. Sam, what's happening?
Trusted.
I was going to say trusted, then I was going to say trustee, so I said trusted.
I like that you invented a word for me. That's very generous of you.
That's how much I care. But we're also joined by a friend of the show. Yes, we have other friends. Jude Adams. Jude, how's it going?
It's good. It's good. I like how you guys upped the quirkiness to like 11 after you started recording. That was pretty good.
Yeah,
quirkiness.
Yeah, you got like a little back and forth there.
That's what we like to do. I mean,
yeah.
What, in real life we're just stoic and just like
you got to be relatable.
Yeah, exactly.
We are not relatable. We are too weird to be relatable.
Yep, pretty much.
We watch too many movies to do that.
But Jude, we're excited to have you here. Sam, can you just give us a background on how you and I know Jude?
I met Jude.
Jude, chime in when you feel anything is being left out, because
like the story is going astray. I met Jude in David Lynch's basement.
Oh boy, not where you want to meet someone.
Here in LA, it's golden sunshine.
David Lynch was working on a clock, and Jude was his intern. So there was that. But I also met him at a high school broadcasting class.
We'll leave the viewer to decide, or the listener to decide, which one is actually true.
I mean, I met him at both. I didn't remember him either time, so you know how it is.
Yeah, you know.
But yeah, Jude and I go back all of what?
2 years?
20 years, 2 years? I don't remember. It's somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, yeah.
But yeah, we're excited to have him here. It's been a long time coming to get Jude on the podcast, just because early on we were wary of guests. We didn't want one particular guest stealing the show and then having an audience like expect that guest. It's the envy that Will and I have, really.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
I mean,
we were afraid of our domain being taken.
Well,
right.
There's enough call for it. Maybe I'll come back.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We'd love to have you back. So, but before we put you through more of the question ringer, Sam, what movie are we talking this week?
Today we are talking about the also long-awaited Tenet.
All I have for you is a word. Tenet. It'll open the right doors, some of the wrong ones too. Use it carefully.
Tenet. Tenet, 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 Tenet.
It finally happened.
Kind of.
Wow. Yeah. But before we get into Tenet, we do want to put Jude through the question ringer, which is really only 2 questions. But if you do fail, we will kick you off the podcast. So, don't try and get it wrong. But Jude, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to say Synecdoche, New York.
Uh-oh.
It's a bold choice, but I don't know. That's just how I feel about it.
There you go. Synecdoche, New York. Of course, by the great Charlie Kaufman, who just had another movie come out. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to have a hard time not talking about it.
Which is obviously, I'm thinking of ending things, which we will be doing an episode on next week. But tell us why you love Synecdoche, New York. In a brief sentence.
Synecdoche, New York. I don't know. It's just, it hurts.
It does hurt.
Synecdoche, New York. It's got a lot to say, and I like how Charlie Kaufman writes his characters. I think Caden Cotard is a very, very interesting character.
Well, good. I know, Sam, you really like Synecdoche, New York, or it's at least in your top 10. It's number 9, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it bounces in and out.
Yeah.
It's every time you watch it, like Jude said, it hurts. It's every time you watch it, it's kind of like an exhilarating pain. I don't want to compare it to, something dark, but yeah, it's kind of like that.
It's kind of like, the movie's funny though. Like, it's got some good moments.
It
feels like a dream.
It's very surreal.
It's very Synecdoche. I'm not gonna lie.
Very Synecdoche. Jude, go into the meaning of the word Synecdoche, because I understand you wrote an entire essay for school on the word Synecdoche.
That is correct. Synecdoche is, it's hard to like describe it as it is. Like, you have to give it an example. So like,
right.
An example of a Synecdoche would be like, Minnesota played the game last night, and then like, oh, did you see the game last night? If it's the morning after the Super Bowl, they can like assume that you don't have to say like, did you watch the Super Bowl last night? That's kind of what it is.
Mm.
And how that connects to the film is very complicated, and like has to do with
that makes sense actually.
People and their personalities and what they show you and what secrets they keep.
Right.
So that's why it is actually very Synecdoche.
And
yes,
the film's title is a play, like it's play on words, because the film takes place in Schenectady, New York.
Yes.
Yeah. Synecdoche, New York.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. Jude and I have kind of hijacked the term very Synecdoche to apply to anything that is remotely meta or surreal or high concept.
I gotta finish my Letterboxd list
of very Synecdoche films.
Yeah, I got like 40 of them on there, but like
40?
Well, yeah, 40 movies that are very Synecdoche. There's probably more if we're being completely honest.
How do you even think of them, though?
What?
How do you even think which movies would be considered very Synecdoche?
You just know.
Is Synecdoche, New York on that list?
It's the pinnacle.
Okay, good.
But then you got like Kaufman's, you got like adaptation on there, very Synecdoche.
Yeah.
Yes.
Being John Malkovich, very Synecdoche.
I was gonna say Being John Malkovich is very Synecdoche.
It's the original Synecdoche.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess anything by David Lynch is very
David Lynch does Synecdoche very well. But like Anomalisa kind of, but Anomalisa is like, I don't know. I'm lukewarm on Anomalisa.
All right, well there we go. Okay. Jude's favorite movie. Jude, we have one more question for you before we talk about maybe some industry news, and then Tenet is. What are your thoughts on Forrest Gump? Let's hear them.
I hate Forrest Gump.
Okay, you can stay on the show. Okay, you can stay on the show. I was about to believe you.
It's objectively bad.
This is true.
It is. You like Forrest Gump? I don't blame you. I just know that you're like, you're pretty easygoing. You're like, oh yeah, Forrest Gump. It's everything I like, and that's because it is made to be that way.
Yeah.
Not saying anything.
Yes. I mean, I love when dudes run across the United States for no no reason either. But let's not waste 40 minutes in a movie on it. You know, I mean.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, Judy passed. Good. We can move on from here. But Sam, Jude, do you guys have any industry news that you would like to talk about?
We could start out with Ridley Scott confirms he's working on a new Alien movie.
Oh boy, we can stop with that.
We can start and stop with that.
Did you see
How
the
old
pictures?
is Ridley Scott?
He's very old.
I don't know, but he needs to be done making Alien movies. Alien?
Yeah, I
He
can't
is.
think of anything Ridley Scott has done in like the last 20 years that I've loved.
He is 82 years old. My God.
Oh, good.
I mean, like in the 80s and the late 70s, he was killing it, but I don't know.
I think, he kind of came back to the well with Prometheus in 2013. I don't know if either of you just saw that.
Nice. I don't like it's.
Prometheus was okay. Alien Covenant, I don't know what we were doing with that.
Neither of them needed to happen.
I don't know why we're I hadn't heard of this, Sam, so I'm a little disappointed right now. But
Most of the Alien movies are bad, and that's just like the first. And Alien is amazing.
Alien is great.
Aliens is pretty good,
Aliens
and then you just forget the
is
rest of them.
great. Oh,
That's just how it
David
is.
Fincher's Alien 3, Jude.
Yeah, I don't like Baby Fincher. No, I'm not about it.
That's not Fincher canon though. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's a
exactly. It's not
franchise
Fincher
movie.
canon because he was a utility, and then now he's a visionary.
He's an auteur.
He's an auteur. Sorry.
We love that word. Speaking of David Fincher, first
Yeah.
photos of Mank got released.
I'm so excited,
Looks
Yes.
great.
and it's like finally my list of good Netflix original movies I'll be able to count them on more than one hand.
There are a lot of good Netflix originals.
Name more than 5.
Okay, here we go. The Irishman,
I'll disagree, but okay.
Marriage Story. I'm thinking of ending things.
That counts. We'll count it.
Yep.
I think I would consider great films. A little bit of a spoiler for next week, but anyway. What else we got? There has to be more.
Roma.
There has to be.
Oh,
Roma
Roma.
4,
I have
and Ballad of Buster Scruggs,
Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
and that's 5. And then I can't think of any more.
There has to be more.
No, the rest of them are all like Project Power or Bird Box.
That is true.
Bird Box. I
They're really
forgot
cool.
about that movie.
They're releasing on average about 2 good movies a year, and they always come out in the fall. So I kind of ignore it until that point. I'm thinking of ending things. Came out kind of early, but yeah,
Huh.
5 movies, and so I'm hoping Mank is good. I'm very
Mank
excited.
should be good. I think it will make a run for Best Picture. Trial of Chicago
Who knows
7.
how that's gonna work?
What's that?
The Oscars, how they like? It's
Yeah.
gonna be so different
It's going to be
in
different.
terms of like how they choose the films because they delayed it. They delayed it like 3 months.
Yeah, but they also
Mm.
delayed when you can release movies 3 months. So
Yeah. Also, they said as long as you had a release date on the calendar, it counts. So like
Yep.
Trolls World Tour, you can get an Oscar nomination for,
yeah, we can still do
for
it.
Bill and Ted 3.
Thank goodness.
Bill and
Um,
Ted 3.
But yes, Mank might make a run for Best Picture. We'll see what the Trial of Chicago 7 has to say about that with Aaron Sorkin at the helm.
Hmm.
Uh,
It's kind of 50-50 for me.
Oh man, I love Sorkin so much.
I think I like his writing better than his directing.
I love Molly's Game. But Jude shakes his head. But we'll have to see what Trial of Chicago 7 brings us. But very excited for Mank. I think we're all excited for Mank.
Yeah.
Who would it be? Oldman and Fincher? How has that not happened yet?
Because Fincher has like 8 movies. That's why.
Yeah, I know. I wish he would do more. It's crazy to think Fincher's
know, it's
last
like-
movie was Gone Girl.
Gone Girl. That's insane.
Nuts.
We don't deserve him.
Wasn't that like 20? What was that? Like
2014.
2013?
14.
2014.
2014. That's what has he been doing?
I don't even know. He's been trying
That's a long time.
He's been trying to get this like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea going for so long that.
Oh, really?
Stop with that. Then he did like House of Cards on Netflix. Wow, excuse me.
Oh, that turned out well.
Well, I mean, the first season of House of Cards is fantastic.
I won't watch it now. I haven't seen House of Cards. I'm not going to. I can't do television shows, and especially ones with Kevin Spacey in them.
Oh, please.
Oh, boy.
Please. Art from the artist.
Started on Usual Suspects.
Art from the artist. I've talked about this before. I think in light of Kevin Spacey's these allegations against Kevin Spacey, it has only emboldened his effectiveness as an actor retroactively. Like if you look at his role in Seven, or you look at
it makes it worse.
Suspects, it makes it better.
No, it makes it's better because
right.
It's worse.
Yes.
The character is you're more disgusted.
Yes.
Which yes. I think that's very Polanski.
Very Polanski indeed.
Very, very Polanski. Have you read was The Big Goodbye?
Goodbye. Yeah, we
were just talking about this a few weeks ago.
Yeah. I rented it from the library, so I'm gonna read it.
I did. I want to know how that is. So let us know for sure.
Okay. Yeah. I put a hold on Kaufman's book, but it's like a 28-week long wait. Like people want this book.
Oh, and Kind.
Yeah, but it's $30 if you want to buy an actual copy, and what are libraries for? If you buy
is it quite long? And Kind.
Mm-hmm. It's thick.
I would imagine.
I would. That's the only way I would think it would be. But before we get too carried away, let's talk some Tenet.
What were we talking about? I don't remember.
Some idea of the threat we face.
As I understand it, we're trying to prevent World War III.
I'm not saying Armageddon here.
No. Something worse.
Tenet. Tenet. I want to get Jude's general thoughts, no spoiler free, to start. So Jude, take it away here. What did you think of Tenet?
Should I just read my Letterboxd review, because I think that sums it up pretty well?
Let's hear that. Yes.
Tenet is a good film, but not much more than that. Most of the actors do a good job with the flawed script. And it features incredible action sequences, but it's not even close to Nolan's best. So that's what I thought of Tenet. I mean, Tenet's a good movie. It's good.
Okay.
Yes.
If you're gonna see it, I would see it in theaters.
Yeah. I feel like it's the only way you need to see it.
I saw it twice already. I saw it Tuesday night in an actual brick and mortar theater.
Okay.
And then I saw it again Friday night at a drive-in. So.
Okay.
Ooh. This would be a bad movie to see at a drive-in.
It wasn't bad.
Well, I mean, we can get into it later, but with the sound issues.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
And Jude, I do want to get your thoughts on the second viewing a little later into the episode.
Okay. I thought with the drive-in, there were times when my car speakers couldn't handle, it was peaking, as Mr. Osowski would put it. It was peaking in my car. And it was not good, but there were some scenes when it was pretty epic with I don't know.
Okay. All right. Sam, let's hear your general thoughts on Tenet.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow suit with Jude, and I'm gonna read my initial Letterboxd review.
Let's hear it.
Which was, I have so many questions. I'm not sure if Tenet is overambitious overambitious and rife with plot holes, or I'm too stupid to grasp the next step in Nolan's quest of cinematic perfection. Either way, the audio needs to be fixed, and I had a hell of an evening. That would about do it for me. I watched Tenet on Tuesday night, I believe, and yeah, I mean, same night as Jude.
Mm.
We were kind of texting back and forth that night, and then I came back to my dorm, and my friend and I, who I saw it with, we probably spent about 3 hours just trying to figure the movie out on a structural level. And
I just found a diagram online, and it was much easier. I didn't have to do any thinking.
Yeah, but my friend was convinced that we needed to do it ourselves. He didn't want to like bow to the Reddit gods, I suppose.
Oh, I found that on Twitter, but okay.
Okay. Yeah, I saw it making the rounds on Reddit, but some people have way too much time on their hands.
Yeah,
so then,
like, I don't know. I felt like I wasn't. It was a good movie, but it wasn't worth my time to like think about it too much.
Yeah. Right. So then, Will, what are your initial thoughts, general thoughts?
Yeah, so Tenet was my most anticipated movie of the year for 2020. Went to see it with some buddies on, I think, Thursday night. Came back from the viewing, and I said, I think I liked that, but I didn't understand any of it. A couple days removed from that now, maybe 4 or 5 days removed from that, I don't think I liked Tenet. I don't think I liked it, which upsets me. Watching the movie, I wanted to like it so badly. I wanted to be giving this like 4.5 stars. I wanted to like it. I found I had so many issues with it. I think it's good on a technical level on some parts. I had so many issues with it that I like couldn't stand it at some points.
Is it your least favorite Nolan?
No, just because I hate Al Pacino and Insomnia. But
he was the best part of that movie.
I just can't stand Al Pacino.
That was the only thing I liked about Insomnia was. Oh, have you seen Jack and Jill?
What?
Yes and no. I don't want to think about it.
That's Al Pacino at his worst. Okay.
No, that's Al at his best.
I just hate Al Pacino.
Yeah.
I don't like his
Al's commitment to that role in Jack and Jill is staggering.
It's not Al anymore. It's Dunk.
How much he commits to that role is absurd. But anyway, we went in the weeds again.
We've never done that before.
No.
Me. I'm sorry.
Never.
But no, I had so many issues with it, and I'll lay them all out. I feel like I'm going to be playing devil's advocate here. There are redeeming qualities of this movie. I'll still give it a decent star rating. I was thoroughly disappointed.
I get that.
But let's kind of, you know what? Should we just hit spoilers? Should we just talk specifics for a little bit?
I think you have to. I think we
maybe
have
like
to.
the few minutes. Like there's things that I can say, like, Rob Pattinson, good job from him.
Okay, yeah, let's talk a little non-spoilers. Pattinson was good. That was one of the things I did like.
And John David Washington. I thought they both did a great job.
I thought John David Washington was kind of bad.
No, I liked it.
Kind of bad?
Are you kidding? What did you think of Kenneth?
I just thought when he was like, when he was doing his whole, I'm really confused. I was like, oh, dude, you need to stop doing this. This is like, I was getting annoyed. Like, I thought he was kind of bad at parts. There were moments where I was like, ooh, that was good. I liked what you did there. But other time, like him whole just like walking and asking Robert Pattinson questions. I was just like, this is, I can't do this. I'm going nuts.
I think that has more to do with the script than his acting in the film. I thought
exactly.
Yeah,
maybe it was a combo for
Brett, though. I thought was really, really bad. What did you think?
Oh wait, who's that? I didn't hear the name. Sorry.
The villain, Kenneth Branagh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was the worst part for me.
And I like Kenneth Branagh too, so I don't know what he was doing.
Well,
But
yeah, I didn't
but
see it.
I think what Will's describing real quick though is I would agree with Jude and I would agree with you, Will, as well. It's that I think John David Washington's performance seems like it's lacking just because his character is severely underwritten.
Exactly.
And there's
Like,
no
I don't have a
development.
name. Come on.
Yeah, we don't know his name.
I
There's
thought that was so
no
awful, by the way. How he just kept
Yes.
saying, "I'm the protagonist," and I'm like,
right.
I'm
Yeah.
like smacking my forehead, like, oh,
Or like when he was describing the people that he had to fight in the airport, he's like, 2 antagonists, 1 inverted, 1 normal. You could just say there are 2 guys I was fighting.
okay.
Why you gotta hit me over the head with it, Mr. Nolan?
I want to hear what'd you like about it, Jude? What were some things that you really enjoyed?
I thought it was really like
And then
from
I'm
the
coming to you,
first
Sam.
scene. From the first scene, it's like Nolan throws you into it, and like you know that when it's good, it's gonna be pretty good. Like the opening sequence in terms of like intensity, and it kind of sets the tone for the best parts of the movie.
Yep.
I really liked all the action sequences. I loved the practical effects. Like, it's crazy how practical the entire movie is. They didn't do a lot of VFX shots. And, I just think I like that there is a movie as original as this one, to a point, that is like it's like a big release, Tenet.
Mhm.
Oh, it's a big in the new Chris Nolan movie, just on that name alone. And it's not like a Star Wars or a Marvel or whatever,
Absolutely.
So that's what I liked about it. But I thought this a lot. It was just really like the writing was just so bad for a lot of it, and I think Nolan tried to go too complicated with the whole. I love time, but it messes. Like, if you want to do that, like he did it well in Inception and Interstellar, like the third act of that movie, kind of a mess, and the whole movie kind of felt like the third act of Interstellar.
Gotcha. That's fair. Sam, what'd you enjoy about Tenet?
More than anything, well, I mean, the thing that I didn't enjoy about it is also the thing that I really loved about it, which was it didn't get too bogged down in character arcs. And that's a weakness and a strength, right? Is on one level, I just wanted to see Nolan trying to do his like magnum opus in terms of structural writing, in terms of lining out a plot that can be decoded and kind of analyzed by the audience and not have to worry about a certain character's arc or what's motivating them, or even really some of these dialogue pieces. But at the same time, it makes it really hard to stay engaged when we know absolutely nothing about our protagonist. We don't know what motivates him. We don't know why he's doing anything, really.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems blatantly obvious to me that this was not a stylistic choice. It's just that Nolan felt like he had to focus on plot rather than character. And that's true for Nolan generally. Like, he's always been focused on plot rather than character. And the other interesting thing I wanted to bring up that's perhaps related to this is the fact that Tenet was originally supposed to be about half an hour longer or so.
Actually,
Yes.
It was originally 185 minutes.
Yes. So I think that may be significant, because I think in that 30 minutes, we would perhaps get a lot more character development and a little more of a grounding before we enter into this maze of time inversion and everything gets all screwy in our heads.
That also, like, it also worries me though, because what if that extra half an hour? Yeah, it might be character development, but how is it done? Because the rest of the movie, everything is just told to you, you know?
Right. Right.
Oh,
Which is why I think that
do this thing and what
yeah.
You don't know about time inversion? Well, it's this. Well, time inversion is, you know.
Right. But my thing is, I think that what happened was the studios made Nolan cut it, and Nolan was caught between a rock and a hard place. And he's like, well, what do I have to absolutely keep in this movie? And what we're seeing is just the bare bones to make the movie somewhat
watchable,
literate. I would say literate, even like understandable. And even then, it's not very understandable, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's an issue with, I pray to God that there's a director's cut.
I couldn't handle it.
I want to see a director's cut because I want to see what I would only think that it would clarify more questions.
Okay.
I really do. And so Will, with that, then what, I guess what did you like about Tenet?
Oh gosh. It's hard for me to say what I liked about Tenet. I mean, it's a lot of Nolanisms that I still enjoyed in it, where they come back to something and you're like, oh, that makes more sense. Or, you know, obviously anyone will say, Jude, you already have the visuals looked great. I thought Pattinson did a fair job, which now makes me excited for the Batman.
I can't believe we didn't talk about that for the movie news.
We've talked about it.
That production shut down because he has COVID.
Oh yeah, he has COVID. Get well soon, Robert.
Yeah,
I know you listen.
I'm sure he's an at-risk group. Yeah.
But what else did I like about this movie? I don't know.
Oh no, Will.
I think it's put together fairly well. It's like if you made a nice spaghetti dinner with a nice side salad and then we're like, let's just put the side salad on top of the spaghetti and then mixed it. That's what Tenet is to me. Like you had something fine, a great concept, and then you just kind of threw something in that just didn't feel right. And I don't know what didn't feel right, but it just kind of, I'll just say, when you have a guy like Christopher Nolan who comes out with a movie every 3 years, sometimes longer. It's been 3 years since Dunkirk. When you have a guy like that who's arguably in the top 3 directors currently working, and he has a movie coming out that's supposed to be this big thing, big cultural event, and I'm disappointed in the slightest, that's upsetting to me. I think he just misexecuted on too many fronts where I just couldn't get past it, is what it really comes down to. I mean, we've said the sound is pretty bad, and it is, because I can't hear anything. Mostly just the dialogue. Like, I can't even hear the crappy dialogue, much less understand what they are saying when they say it.
Right.
Also, the visuals look great, but there's so much going on that I can hardly tell what's happening. And I honestly thought, we're going to hit spoilers now. Spoilers coming up.
We're going to spoiler land.
Thought the end battle scene was so poorly choreographed. I couldn't believe it.
It was so confusing.
I was like, are there even bad guys? I didn't even see a bad guy. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I mean, it was confusing, but
in the thing.
But you just have 200 guys running down a desert, and none of them are dying. Are there even guns being fired at them? Like, I was just.
Well, there were shots of there were people that like, what are you shooting at?
I was,
in terms of spectacle, it was like, wow, this is cool. It's like this big set and things are exploding, but why? I
thought that was so bad. Like, I was watching it. I was like, what is going on right now? I have no idea. And I also want to say, that when they landed, when the red team, which had John David Washington on it, landed, we could see the blue team getting onto their ship. Like, we know they won. And then when we cut to Robert Pattinson, who's on the blue team, he sees the red team inversioned walking back onto their ships. I'm like, we know they won. I was just like, what was the point of that? What was the point of the whole battle?
Yes, but they only won because the other team went in.
We, as an audience, saw that. I know, like, they didn't, like, the characters didn't, but we did. So that's also kind of upset me.
Well, I think what you're doing is you're tapping into the premise of the film, which is similar to, I shouldn't say the premise, I should say the theme.
Yeah.
Which is that similar to when John David Washington is first introduced to the concept of inverted bullets. He says, well, you know, he's about to basically drop a bullet and do that in verse. Like, have the bullet come to his hand. And as the scientist explains to him, it doesn't matter whether or not you dropped it already. It's whether or not you were intending for that to happen. Right? So the idea is that time is a construct and that intention is what matters. It's very trippy.
Yes.
And I think that theme was actually executed pretty well. But I don't know. I might be getting too into it. And every time I think about it, my head kind of hurts.
I do want to...
So, Jude, what...
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just want to ask Jude, what do you think about the first... Well, not the first, but one of the first action sequences inside of, like, after they've crashed the plane with John David Washington battling, well, himself, and how did that reveal also what was later in the movie?
Well, I thought that was the best part of the movie, honestly. Like, the way that they kind of set it up and then came back to it.
That's what I was talking about with Nolanism.
The what?
That's what I was talking about. That's what I referenced earlier of him coming back to it. That was really smart.
Yeah. I thought that, in terms of, like, intensity, that was the most intense part of the movie, with them, like, walking through all the vaults. And then, you know, it has the same aspects of, like, essentially the film is just a time travel movie.
Right.
And so it has all those, like, whoa, I can't believe, like, it was them all along kind of aspects, you know?
Yeah.
And the way that they kind of set up they're like, there's something in this vault. And it turned, like, that's a big part of the movie later. I guess we're going into spoilers, so it's like the time machine thing.
Yeah, just
time inversion machine. They're like, what's inside of it? Well, that's what it is. Yeah. And so later, when John David Washington, the people that they fight in there, it's him, and so they're both him. Like, I don't know, it's confusing, but it works.
Yes. What
I didn't like about it was, like, the initial reasoning for, like, we have to break in and, like, you know, they're talking about this art. They have, like, this fake painting. I don't know what was going on with it.
But I had no clue what was happening.
Yeah, that I actually kind of understand.
Okay, explain it to me, please.
The entire like art subplot.
Yeah, give it to me.
So Kat sold her husband Sater a fake painting that was, and she overvalued it massively. Basically, the only reason Sator has her being held hostage is because, well, not hostage, but, you know, under his control, is because he has that painting kept safe in that vault which happens to be near an airport, which makes no sense. Also, it happens to be literally 10 feet away from a time inversion machine, which is all too convenient. That's like plot hole 1 of 30. But in terms of the art piece itself, that is a fake art piece. So all John David Washington and Robert Pattinson are doing is destroying the painting so that Sador would have no proof of saying that his wife is a fake art dealer.
And then she can be free or whatever.
Right. So Sador's plan was essentially to blackmail her if she stepped out of line. And so that subplot, I mean, it works. I mean, it would have worked better if we understood what was going on, just because, again, the audio was had problems.
It works for setting up the like time thing, the time machine, and then you come back later and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, but I mean, for Nolan, that is a ridiculously simplistic subplot.
Yeah,
that is very simplistic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, it is a tiny little moving piece on this huge scale of trying to understand the plot, but man.
Sure. So, Jude, I want to ask you, how did the second viewing work? Was it better, worse, or kind of the same?
So like, there's a lot of movies where you see them a second time, and like, even movies that don't have like things like, you know, I don't know if you've seen Knives Out more than once, but like watching that again, even though you know exactly what's gonna happen, is still pretty good, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Whereas this, I saw it a second time, and yeah, I kind of knew what was going on, and I knew it was going to happen, but it didn't really make the film better. You know, like there wasn't a lot of like tense moments. It's like, you know, that was really what the film had going for it. Was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going to happen, or like what's going on, and then you do the second time, you know exactly what's going to happen. And it just, I don't know.
Did it enhance your understanding of the plot just on a basic level at all?
Yes, because I knew to listen better for what the dialogue was.
Right.
Right. Funny. Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I also want to ask you both, how does Chris Nolan make this a better movie? I think all three of us, although I know you two are higher on it than I am, I think you both have issues with it. How does he make this a better movie? Or is it kind of just, is it too ambitious?
It's too ambitious, honestly. Like I was hoping that he would kind of tone, like he made Interstellar, which is like this huge scale space movie, and it's pretty good for the most part, but it was so confusing. And then he took a step back and he made Dunkirk, it's very simple. You know, it's 3 stories and you know kind of what's going on in all of them. And I don't know where he went wrong. Like, I don't know when this was conceived or written. You know, it's like I don't know if he's gotten better, if he's gotten worse, depending on when this was like written, you know, it's like the Shyamalan thing.
Right.
You know, Split is pretty good, but he also wrote that 20 years before it came out.
Right.
Sure.
My thing is, so I would, and I've said this to both of you before, I think the thing with Nolan is he did Inception, and that is a perfect balance of ambition and clarity. The average moviegoer, if they're paying attention, can understand Inception. And
it doesn't feel deep. They're like, wow, I'm a real fan.
Yeah, and it is a deep movie. It's very, you know, it's pretty high concept.
Yeah.
But I think Nolan felt he was very successful with that. He took a massive overstep with Interstellar. I think Interstellar is more or less incoherent towards the end. And then, like Jude said, he kind of had a reset, and he made a historical epic, Dunkirk.
I don't
And
know
now
about you guys, but I really like Dunkirk.
I think Dunkirk is one of his best.
Agreed.
But then with Tenet, which it's not a hill I would die on, but I would argue that Tenet is better than Interstellar.
No, I think the first half of Interstellar is really, really good.
I love Interstellar, so I don't know
Yeah.
if they're even comparable.
And in terms of like, you have to think like, also the majority of the actors in Interstellar do a lot better of a job than most of the actors in Tenet.
Yeah.
Tenet, you can like, there's a few standouts, but for the most part, it's not the best.
But okay, so a couple things with this. Number one, again, I think there has to exist a director's cut of Tenet that we need to see. I read online that Nolan was developing this concept for Tenet for over a decade. And he consulted the same astrophysicist that he did for Interstellar when working on this to talk about time inversion, theories of relativity, that sort of thing. He also consulted multiple logic professors to make sure that the film, from a logical perspective, made sense. So, I mean, he worked on the concept for over 10 years. What I'm getting at is, to me, because it is Christopher Nolan, I am erring on the side of this is just very bare bones, and there is some brilliance that exists here that I cannot understand. I mean, we're less than a week out from release. I mean, if you ask me a year from now, it's possible that I would agree and say that Interstellar is a better movie. But as of now, I'm more impressed with the theme and the ambition behind Tenet.
I don't think Tenet's going to age very well. I think people are going to remember Tenet for more of like the movie that came out during a pandemic than for what it had to say.
Agreed.
That is probably true. That is probably true. Yeah.
If it had come out regularly, it probably would have made some waves, but wouldn't have done a whole lot.
That's a great point. Before we hit grades, I want to ask: is there anything else you guys have to say about Tenet?
Yeah, I heard it has to make $800 million to break even. So,
which it won't do.
It's not. No, it's like it's nearing 150 worldwide, and it's already been out for 2 weeks in the rest of the world. So,
it won't even come close.
I
want to also ask you guys: where do you want Nolan, or where do you think Nolan will go from here? What do you want him to do next?
Well, that's interesting.
There's nothing on the docket as of right now. I'm sure he has his next 3 ideas, but what would you like to see him do? Something more like Tenet and Inception? Go more back to like the Dunkirk? Like, it doesn't have to be a war movie, but something more toned down? Or
see, this might be contradicting myself, but I don't know. I would think that Nolan doesn't respond to popular criticism particularly well, or I think he just doesn't care. As long as the studios continue to fund him, he's going to make whatever he wants for his own artistic fulfillment. What would I personally like to see? I mean, it's one of those things where he's one of the few filmmakers where I trust his judgment, like completely.
Okay.
Like, he is, as we've mentioned before, he's one of the few filmmakers working today who are truly pushing the boundaries of what cinema can do. And if we viewed Tenet as a semi-failed experiment, that's fine. I actually don't have a problem with that because he is, at least it's something that we've never seen before. you know, and that at least it's not derivative. And if he wants to continue to make something so experimental and so groundbreaking, and even if it does flop or fail on a structural level, as we've discussed, I have no problem with that. You know what I mean?
Okay. Sure. Jude, do you have any thoughts on what you'd like Nolan to do?
Tiger King movie.
Oh boy.
I want to see what he does with it.
Great. That's a great answer.
You know, I don't know. If you're at like serious answer, I really like Dunkirk. I'd like to see something of the same type of scale.
I'm with you. I want to see him. I know he took a break after Interstellar and did something toned down. I think he needs to take another break and just like, I just think Tenet is way too ambitious, and I don't think it's his fault, other than the fact that he came up with it, because I don't think it's doable. So I think he needs to just do like, I'm not saying go do what David Fincher is doing right now and do a biopic, but just do something that you can make your own story. And it can be relatively simple to understand without getting headaches by just even thinking about it, much less actually watching it.
Right.
And
yeah,
maybe try this again sometime in 7 years when you have some time to think about it and like actually develop a story that can be comprehended and thought through.
It's like you're putting Nolan in timeout.
I am putting Nolan in timeout for the time
Go
being.
sit in the corner and work on a World War II movie.
I don't want to see another World War II movie. I want to see like
Tiger King.
Yes.
Seriously. What's he gonna do it? Like, how would he do it? Who's gonna be the Tiger King?
I want to see Nolan make a movie about like the atomic bomb. I don't know why. I feel like he can do that.
Like Oppenheimer and that stuff.
Yeah, making of the atomic bomb, like the race between the Soviets making it and the United States making it. I don't know why I think he'd do a good job with something like that.
He would do very well with that.
Anything Cold War too. If Nolan wants to do that, that'd be great.
Yeah, well, you know, that was the other thing about Tenet is it's like a semi Cold War movie.
Yeah, kind of actually.
And we talk about Kenneth Branagh. I mean, you can have your own opinions on his performance, but he is just a stereotypical. His character is just stereotypical Cold War Ruski. Like, not a whole lot of nuance to it. It was like modern day Cold War stuff.
It reminded me of the bad James Bond movies.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh,
from like the early 80s.
Yeah, that's a shot right there. But any other thoughts on Tenet before we hit a rating?
Oh, I was just talking to Jude about I'm thinking of ending things, and there's a certain actor in there named Jesse Plemons who is a discount Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yep.
In Tenet, what's his name? The guy who plays the leader of like the leader of the Tenet group. You know what I mean? Like the military commander.
Yep.
He is a discount Tom Hardy.
Oh goodness, you're right. You definitely know.
Oh yes, Aaron Taylor Johnson, who plays Ives, is a discount Tom Hardy.
Well, and Nolan is a fan of Tom Hardy. We know this.
Yes, I know.
Too.
He's budget Tom Hardy.
That is funny. That is very funny.
Tom Hardy was busy with Capone.
Yeah, he was busy with Capone. Exactly.
Let's hit some star ratings. Let's have our guest go first. Jude, what are you giving Tenet on a scale of 5?
3.5 stars out of 5.
3.5. Okay. And you consider that a good, great? What are you considering that?
Good.
Good. Okay.
Above average.
Above average. Okay, Dierberger.
I also will give Tenet 3.5 stars out of 5. I think the ambition is there. I think it's just a lot of fun to think about, but again, that doesn't make for necessarily a great film. Yeah, I mean, and what are you giving it, Will?
I'm gonna give Tenet 3 stars, Virgin on 2.5.
Okay.
If I see it again, though, maybe it could go to the 3.5. I don't know. I'd have to see it again. Like, I just don't know with Tenet. I just don't know.
Yep.
But with all of that in mind, I suppose, I guess we're done with Tenet. It's crazy to think about.
That's crazy.
Fine.
We made it. We made
It
it.
wasn't my most anticipated. I don't think it was even close for this year, at least.
What is yours, Jude?
It was. I'm thinking of ending things, but now I'd probably say Dune because it has a release date. But French Dispatch is the only Disney Fox release without a release date right now. So if it gets a release date in 2020, then that. If not, Dune.
I think French Dispatch will be released next year. Dune has a trailer out tomorrow, actually, as we're recording this on September 6th. The trailer will be September 7th, so check that out.
I should have seen French Dispatch already. This is so sad.
I know, right? French Dispatch was July 24th. So it's upsetting.
Did you guys, by the way, did you guys get a trailer for June when you went and saw, a trailer for Dune when you went and saw Tenet?
I did, yes.
I didn't.
Okay.
When I saw Tenet in a real theater, there were no trailers, which was weird.
Oh, that is strange.
And then when I saw it at the drive-in, they had a Wonder Woman trailer.
Okay.
Yeah, Dune will be interesting. I don't know how I feel about Denis Villeneuve, but that's a hot take. I know that.
Really? That's a hot take? I think it's amazing. He's so good.
That's a very hot take. I'll get into that later. But
I know you didn't like Blade Runner, but okay.
Let's talk. Let's hit some recommendations. Does anyone want to start out, or?
You always catch me off guard, man. I need like 30 seconds.
Seconds. Okay. Jude, do you have anything right away?
Yes.
Let's hear it.
I recommend this to every person that I meet. I would like to recommend Twin Peaks. It's on Netflix or Amazon Prime. And it's very synecdoche, and I love it.
Go into a little bit on Twin Peaks. Just give a little bit.
It's just you go into it and you just experience it. I don't know how else to describe it. Second season gets kind of bad at some points, but it's the one TV show I'll watch.
Twin Peaks on Netflix. So that's a Lynch joint as well, is it not?
Yes, it is David Lynch.
Okay. Lynch joint.
Yeah. I would also like to recommend David Lynch's book, Room to Dream.
Oh. I can't. Okay. All right. I think
I would, but I don't want nightmares.
Yeah, David Lynch scares me.
Are you kidding me? Have you seen his daily weather reports on his YouTube channel? He's the sweetest person on the earth.
I know, it's terrifying.
Here in LA, blue skies, golden sunshine.
Oh, I was going to text you, Jude. The other day I was in a Whole Foods of all places, and I was walking through the coffee section, and they have a giant display, and it's some African coffee brand that David Lynch has endorsed. And it's like a picture of David with a coffee mug, and he's like, I love Kalusha coffee because it's sustainably sourced and it's delicious.
I love David. He's so amazing. He's just, I don't know. I think he's really funny.
Yeah, he's a real trip.
Oh, that's great. Dierberger, do you have anything right now, or should I go?
I actually do have something. I found.
Let's hear it. Mine's so out of the blue, so let's.
Mine's a little out of the blue,
okay.
But loyal listeners will know that I absolutely love Tom Waits. Love Tom Waits, who is a American singer-songwriter / beat poet / professional vagabond, I suppose. And his 1988 concert film Big Time started streaming on Amazon Prime this week. Needless to say, I've already seen it, but I watched it again just because I love it.
Yeah.
And it's not for everybody, but if you're into alternate music, I mean, if you're into I mean, Jude, I know you're kind of into talking heads. Like you enjoy Stop Making Sense.
The best concert film. I mean, you can't really beat it.
Well, you haven't seen The Last Waltz.
I have seen The Last Waltz, and I like the band, but
yeah.
And I like Bobby D. It's a classic.
Right. Yeah.
I want to let you know, I went to a vinyl store last week, and they had about 60 copies of Dylan's new album.
Yes, which is
it's
a masterpiece.
It was a little sad.
A little sad?
Yeah, no one was buying it. In the Bob Dylan, they had like a little Bob Dylan section. They had like a couple of his classics, and then 3 rows of his new album.
Yeah, well, I'll wait for those to get on clearance and I'll get it on vinyl. But anyway, big time, fascinating 80 minutes. So check that out on Amazon Prime.
Good. Nice. Okay, this is going to be the weirdest recommendation we have had on the show yet. But the NFL football season is just around the corner, and I'm so upset that this year I will not be watching, as I'm in college, the football season on the Red Zone channel. So I'm going to recommend the Red Zone channel for any NFL fan. It's the greatest thing ever. You can watch every single game. Plus, they just play games, whichever game is the best one, on a specific channel. Oh, it's the best. It's the only way to watch football, and I'm upset I won't be watching football like that this year.
What's your favorite football game ever?
My favorite football game that I watch? Or just in general?
Yeah, what's the best one? Was there a game that was particularly like, wow, this is like once in a
Packers
lifetime?
winning Super Bowl 45.
I get that. I'd probably say the same.
Go Pack, go! But no,
Dude,
I'm serious. Red Zone is so awesome. Everyone should have it. I'm disappointed I don't in college. So check that out. But
Packers fans want it both ways. They want to live in Minnesota, but they also want to cheer for their home team. It's okay. You can admit that Minnesota's a better state. It's fine.
I live in Iowa, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I live in Wisconsin. I don't know what you're talking about.
But Jude, where can the audience find you on Letterboxd if they're looking for you?
At RadioMan70. That is my Letterboxd handle. Please follow me. I have more followers than both of these guys, so I'm pretty
he's better
pretty qualified to have a good opinion.
To be fair, you were on Letterboxd much longer before us.
You wouldn't have Letterboxd if it wasn't for me, so
that is very true.
That is true. You are correct with that statement. But Sam, where can we find you on Letterboxd if anyone's looking for you?
You can find me at sjdierberger. As always, I don't know if it'll change. And Will, where can I find you on Letterboxd?
You can find me on Letterboxd at RadioMan71. Or you can find
Was Radio Man 70 taken?
It was taken. I don't know by who, but
what the heck?
I had
you know what that's from? It's from 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Is it?
That was John Goodman. Yeah, that was his.
Why is that your handle then?
Because I really liked that movie when I made my Letterboxd account, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I like 10 Cloverfield Lane, but you can find us on all podcast platforms at Those Film Nerds and on YouTube, and you can find us at anchor.fm/ThoseFilmNerds, as well as you can email into the show at thosefilmnerds@gmail.com, and you can find us at Those Film Nerds on Instagram. But until next time.
You can also find us inverting time.
Oh, yeah. I'm inverted. Sam isn't.
Yes.
So if you're inverted, Sam will be inverted.
So, right. So Will
This was a really tough episode to record. Let's just say that.
It's tough to record because I don't understand anything Will's saying because it's backwards.
Don't encourage Mr. Nolan to do more shenanigans, please. Let's move on.
Oh, that's great. Jude, it was great to have you. You're always welcome back. But until next time, Sam.
Keep watching movies, everyone. Have a great week.
Everyone have a great week. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.